You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
This is Rod Mahood, your in-game voice of the Niagara IceDogs, and you're listening to the Dog Pound Podcast on the Armchair GM Sports Network, your podcast source for all game analysis, team interviews, and up-to-date news regarding the Niagara IceDogs.
Perlini! Overtime! IceDogs win! They score! Verhage was also jamming away. It's a power play goal for the IceDogs. And they score! Hosang, first goal as an IceDog. Strong stop, Shipley. Richie scores! Gets it to Akil Thomas. Thomas has the angle coming in. He scores!
Welcome into another Niagara IceDogs game recap right here on the Dog Pound Podcast, the official podcast of your Niagara IceDogs. Proudly brought to you by Global Pet Foods, where pets are undeniably part of the family in all four of their great Niagara region locations. Ben Caputo and Cam Halbert are with you to break down the IceDogs 7-2 victory on home ice here against the Soo Greyhounds. Make sure to give us a follow on X at Dog Pound Podcast. Stay up to date with all of our IceDogs coverage, as well as on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok if you're into that social media sort of thing. Thank you to everybody that's tuned in on our live stream on our YouTube channel. Make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, and smash that bell. Stay up to date with all of our Armchair GM Sports Network YouTube content. And thank you to everybody tuning in the next day on your favorite on-demand audio platform. Cam, the IceDogs come in. They lost their first two-game losing streak of the season. They kind of washed that away, got some guys back in the lineup tonight, and even without their captain Kevin He in the lineup, put up a 7 spot on the Soo Greyhounds team. Multiple hat tricks tonight, and great response for the IceDogs and Ben Boudreau's club tonight.
No, absolutely. I think that after last game and how last week ended with whether it be the suspension of Kevin He, and we talked about potentially maybe this would be the beginning of a little bit of a rough patch for the IceDogs after such an electric start. I mean, this team is just different, and all the expectations of the last few years of maybe not seeing as many victories as we were normally used to. This was a great turnaround. They were prepared from the opening puck drop, and again, even without Kevin, their offense started to hum, and we got to a massive performance from a few key players that are going to be role players once everyone's back and healthy. And I think that's the most important part about this win, was that it wasn't just the top end guys doing the heavy lifting.
We'll hear from IceDogs head coach Ben Boudreau on the Wild Bills auto repair postgame later on tonight, as well as our Cully's player interview, which we were able to conduct actually during the intermission with Kevin He serving the final game of his 2-game suspension. So we put Kevin to work tonight while he was up here in the press box. So that'll be our player interview tonight with the IceDogs captain. But with that said, Cam, before we get into everything else, go ahead and give your thoughts on the lineup tonight. They went with one less forward once again with Kevin He, no Matthew Paris, no Alex Asadorian, and still without Charlie Robertson. So they had Matthew Humphreys backing up Owen Flores tonight, and Darcy DeWatcher was the extra defenseman. What did you think of the lineup structure tonight? Well,
it's starting to become what we are expecting, whether it be Max and Loshko stayed together with Ryan Robrick up top. Waslin coming back from the U17s, we've really seen a different side of him. He has really become extremely confident. He made a couple of fantastic plays in this one, and again, it's his playmaking that is really starting to be kind of the forefront of his offensive capabilities. And when he figures out how he starts utilizing that great shot he has as well, I think it's just sky's the limit for him. But I think we have to start with like I said, the depth players. Ivan Galyanov has had a stretch of a few games now where he has been exactly what he looked like last year, and that was a pretty impactful young player. And I think that at the start of the season, he might have been the one that was going through a little bit of a development phase where wasn't seeing the results that he had normally became used to during his rookie season. But the last few games, he has looked like a great player, and tonight he had 3 points, and it was just humming. He had a couple of breakaways. He seems a little snake bitten on the breakaways, but that didn't slow him down offensively tonight. And then we had Mike Levin finally, a game where we needed to have Mike Levin kind of show up in this big spot because, again, we don't have Kevin He in the lineup right now, obviously the best offensive player, at least this season. And Mike Levin has been kind of called upon again like he was last year. And again, I think he was called upon a little too much last year, but he delivered tonight and with a hat trick. And the final goal, the empty netter, it wasn't just a floater from his own end. Like, he had to work on the forecheck to get that puck back. And I got to say, it was nice to see him get that hat trick because, yeah, he had gone just a little too long. He had gotten his looks, but just hasn't been the same player that he was last year, and now we're starting to see that kind of come together, which is huge for the team. Like I said, when everyone's back, now you get those depth players in the spot where they should be in this lineup, and you're going to see a lot more success, I think.
He's doubled his goal output tonight from the season, so and he scored in the last game as well for the IceDogs. So Mike Levin's a guy, now that he's got that confidence, he could go on a run here of having maybe goals in 4 or 5 straight games like we saw last year with him. It's just nice to see because when the other guys aren't scoring, even though they have been scoring, like the Rubriks and the Loshkos and Kevin He's when they've been in the lineup, it's nice that they have this middle six contribution that makes them such more of a dangerous team from top to bottom, and why they were so successful in the early part of the season before hitting this little bit of turbulence the last week or two.
No, yeah, and it's just next man up mentality. I think that, in the years past, we would have seen the IceDogs maybe go on a 3 or 4 game losing streak here. And again, the last game was their first ever loss back-to-back of the season, and it actually dropped them from first in the Eastern Conference all the way down to fourth. And they had been in first essentially since that Brampton game, the 4th game of the season when they started 4-0. So they had been in first place, the entire first 7 weeks of the season. And after tonight's win, they're back on top of the Eastern Conference. They stopped that losing streak, and they started the 3-3 that they have this weekend off on a strong note at home against a very good Greyhounds team.
So let's get into it tonight with our game stats brought to you by Gales Gas, your go-to gas station in the Niagara region. Not just a gas station or local tradition, because when it comes to fuel, you're going to Gales with multiple locations across Niagara. Shots on net cam 45-38 in favor of the visiting Soo Greyhounds, but that was because of a second period that the Greyhounds outshot the IceDogs 24-10. But overall, IceDogs 15-10 in the first and 13-11 advantage in the third period. What do you think it was in that second period where the IceDogs had a 4-0 lead in this game? 24-10 for the Soo Greyhounds, and if you look at it, Owen Flores, he was named a star tonight even though they scored 7 goals, but he stopped 43 of 45, came up big for them in that middle period.
Well, a lot of their shots weren't of the high danger variety. There was a sequence in the second as well as in the first where they had 4 shots each time, and they were all very harmless from the outside. I think the defense did a great job in this one, kind of forcing the play to the outside, letting Owen see everything. And he was really on. Very few rebounds, controlled the play, didn't get over emotional. He didn't get emotional, what we've seen sometimes from Flores, but no, did a great job. And I think, again, the decor is just... We don't talk enough about Blair Scott and Brody in the sense that, and even Van Vliet, they go about their job quietly. Virgilio as well. Like, we just don't mention them because they don't make any mistakes. It's just it's great to see, and I thought tonight again just a great job pushing everyone to the outside.
And then as far as the penalty kill goes, that's where Ben Boudreau's club needed to be better. They gave up 3 of 5 to the Bulldogs in their last game. And you look at it, they were 6 for 6 on the penalty kill tonight against the Greyhounds. 1 for 6 on the power play, but that opened the scoring and got them going, got some confidence. But specifically the penalty kill, which Ben Boudreau will talk about later in the postgame, just how big was that for them to be able to keep Soo off the scoreboard there?
Well, huge. It had started to slip quite a bit. I think in the first 10 games of the season, both of their special teams units were in the top 5 of the OHL. Things had started to kind of slip away. And again, Kevin is among on their top penalty kill unit. So Loshko's out there. We had Zada again, who's become a great penalty killer. But I think it's just good confidence, to make sure. Those couple of those Brantford games were awfully tough because Brantford had been struggling on the power play so much, and even in the win the IceDogs had over them to snap that long losing streak, their power play went. I would say I want to say went like 5 for 7, and it was the worst power play in the league. So things have started to come back down to earth a little bit, but But no, again, I think that this game tonight specifically in all aspects was a good righting the ship, and we get Kevin back now, and we'll see if we can keep it going.
As far as the faceoffs go, the IceDogs led 44-36 in that department. Ethan Zada, 11 of 20. Andre Loshko, 11 of 22. Mason Ray, 10 of 17. Ryan Rubrick, 3 of 5 in the 5 that he took coming in as a winger, taking some draws. But Mason Ray continues to gain more confidence because he's been able to play on that third line, getting more face-offs, more ice time. And you can see that he almost scored a highlight reel goal. It would have been almost a goal of the year where he spun around and then put it almost between his legs. It would have been a nice goal in the third period. But I think Mason Ray's the guy that's benefited most from the uptick in playing time and minutes with guys like Asadori and Paris. When Waslin was out, he's a guy that started on the fourth line this year, and he's continued to earn more ice time with his coaching staff.
No, for sure. I think that he had a quiet game outside of that fantastic move, but again, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think that he has really developed into a bottom six, a quality bottom six center, and getting to use his size now. He's starting to finish body checks quite a bit, and I think that he's been very impressive in his development as well from just year over year.
7 players for the IceDogs had multi-point games tonight, so a lot of players deserve some credit tonight, but we're going to get into it with our scoring summary tonight, brought to you by the Niagara Employment Help Center, helping people find work in Niagara since 1983. Check out their up-to-date job board at ehc.on.ca to find your next work opportunity today. The IceDogs opened it up. They only had one power play in that game last weekend, and Ben Boudreau thought that his team deserved a better fate in that regard. They got 3 right off the bat, so really the Soo Greyhounds didn't do themselves any favors. They took 2 penalties right off the bat and then a 4-minute high stick. So the IceDogs had an extended 5-on-3 power play plus an extra power play, which, the Soo did a pretty good job. They only allowed 1 goal on those 3 penalties, but that got the IceDogs going. It was Andre Loshko with his 11th of the season from Ethan Zada. Ryan Rubrick, a nice pass out front, and he's up there in the slot, bangs it home, but confidence for the IceDogs getting on the board. I
don't know if I've ever seen that. That was the first 10 minutes to start the game, basically shorthanded. It included 5-on-3, and it was crazy how the usually when you get a couple calls early, maybe there's one where the whistle gets put away on one to try and even things out. Each one of these penalties was Virgilio was just back skating behind his net, taking the puck on a breakout, and he stepped on someone's stick, got the tripping call, and then the high stick was just he got blood, I believe it was a 4-minute minor as well, or 4-minute major, so just a great start. And the play to score for Loshko, it was a design play with him in that bumper position right in the middle in front of the goaltender, and you love to see that because again, last year we just didn't see really much structure to the power play, and this year there's definitely a focus on it, and it's become a big reason as to why they're number 1 in the Eastern Conference.
And then a few minutes later, it's Ivan Galyanov taking the pass from Mike Levin. He goes in, and Galyanov scored a goal in this game. He could have had 2 or 3. He had a breakaway. He hit a post that Loshko ended up putting in, but you could tell 92 for the IceDogs had an extra jump tonight. Then he's always got some extra jump and some juice, but you could tell he was confident in the offensive zone tonight.
No, absolutely. And again, over the last few games, we've started to see him get some breakaways, specifically breakaways. He's getting a lot of those, and always good to see. He's not finishing on them, but yeah, the one where he drilled the bar on a breakaway, Loshko was able to put in right after, so at least he got the point on that one. But no, he's been impressive, and love to see that. Again, I think that it's important for these guys to have these kinds of games where it's the role players a little bit, because once everyone's back, you need them to go and be able to handle the bottom 6 of teams that aren't as aren't a powerhouse where they're going to get their advantage, and I think that that's going to go a long way over the next few weeks.
The IceDogs score 7 goals in this game. We're not going to go over every single one. We'll kind of glance over. Mike Levin gets on the board after he had scored in the last game and really gets him going. But I know the setup by Brady Waslin is what you want to talk about.
Yeah, he drew three Soo players over just inside the blue line, and he had 3 players converge on him. He just hit a saucer pass from an angle. I don't know how he got it through sticks and skates, and able to find Levin somehow. Again, the playmaking ability of Waslin, I think, is what's really going to separate him in his draft year, I'll be honest with you, and I think it's a big reason as to why so many people were kind of stunned that he dropped to number 4 for the IceDogs in this draft. But my goodness, since he's come back, it has been a treat to watch. I know we're not going to go over everyone, but I believe the final Loshko goal
He scored at the 18:38 mark of the first to make it 4-0. Then he scored his second goal from Galyanov and Rubric, and then later in the game, I believe it was
1:11 second. I believe it was 11 second. It was Levin's second. That one was a fantastic read by Wassland. He got a puck where it looked like he could have shot it into, he got it right in front of the slot. Could have shot it, but he had eyes in the back of his head and just sent it back to Levin, who was able to tap in. Probably the easiest goal. Probably might have been as easy as the empty netter. And it's plays like that when you're watching special players that when you're up, you get a bird's eye view if you're watching on TV and you don't even see the play that they go with, that's when you're watching someone special or someone at a high level, when you get the wide zoomed out view where you can see everything that's going on. And these guys are playing as fast as they are in the OHL, and again able to find Levin there was just so impressive. And I can't wait until everything slots in, because before he went away for the U17s and then Kevin's suspension, even Asadorian's injury, like when Asadorian comes back and it goes back to potentially Rubric and Asadorian, they had such a good chemistry with Wassland that now that he's playing up to his skill level, it's going to be really fun.
And then it was the third period. The IceDogs were up 5-0. Soo came out and got a quick goal to open the third period, so I know Ben Boudreau was not pleased about that. But then, as you mentioned, Mike Levin's second goal from Brady Wassland and Ethan Zada, that was a really nice pass from Brady Wassland. And again, his playmaking ability, which I asked about Ben Boudreau in the postgame, he's now basically at a point a game. Mm-hmm. And he has continued to, I guess, fly under the radar because he's not putting in goals, but he's setting up plays. He's creating the opportunities. As a 16-year-old, he's got so much confidence already to be able to, as you mentioned, kind of see the whole ice, set up his teammates, create time and space, and then find them for these little seam passes that get in behind the defenders and things like that. Like, We're seeing a young man mature already in his first 20 games in the OHL, and going away to the U17s was big for him. And he talked about the biggest learning experience for him was losing in that gold medal game, because he said nothing's going to be handed to you and you're going to go through adversity. I think for him to have an answer like that at 16 years old, he sees the bigger picture, and he's going to be a special player for this team moving forward.
And obviously he didn't win the gold medal at the U17s. He lost to Ethan Belchez and Canada White.
Yep.
He had a goal in that game, I believe, though.
He scored Red's only goal.
Exactly. So like it's not like he could have been like, I had a great experience, thankful for it, and the only thing he's concerned about is the fact that he didn't win, right? And that just goes a long way to say. I'll say this, obviously this season, just like last year, where Rubric and Zada were always kind of not compared to each other, but they were in a group because they were 16 and they were the rookies. This year it's Crete and Wassland, and Crete's been fantastic. I mean, he's playing on the first line, with 2 NHL drafted prospects most nights. But you see like the polishness, the polish on Wassland, whereas Crete still has a little bit of, takes the puck to the outside. He gets hammered a lot along the boards. I'd love to see him, try to be able to avoid some of those checks, whereas I think that's where Wassland kind of separates himself, is that he's able to kind of find the soft spots in the defensive zone where Max just decides to go right through, and usually is able to do well, very, very good. It's just, that's the difference that I see so far. But yeah, I can't wait until everything slots back in, because I think Wassland's going to... Point per game is a 16-year-old, and he is a projected, as it stands right now, the way too early, like Craig Button lists and whatnot, had mentioned Rubric, and they also mentioned Wassland.
For 2026.
For 2026, right? So we're, obviously, not huge focus this year, but next year it's going to get pretty crazy in terms of the spotlight on these guys, and Wassland's handling it very well as a rookie. And I don't think the goal record that Ryan set last year is in danger, but I could see the points, like that we, come March, we might be discussing, watching, is the points record. I can't remember off the top of my head what the points record is. It wasn't Ryan that said it, right?
Yeah, he did.
He did have
but
that.
It was late in the year,
and I think it was a 50. It was in the 50s. I don't think it was in the 60s. So
no, I think it was 49.
He's on pace, yeah, and it would be great. It would be great to see it just because of the foundation. You had Kevin break it. Kevin tied the goal record as a 16-year-old. Ryan breaks it the next year, and then you have Brady Wassland break a point record. 3 consecutive years. It just goes to show the great scouting and drafting and the ability to build for Niagara after such a long stretch of futility.
It was nice to see Max creep back in the lineup because he didn't finish last week's game. And Ben Boudreau put him right back on the top line there with Rubrick and Loshko tonight with Kevin He missing this game. It was nice to see him bounce back, even Jack Brody as well, that one game that he missed. And I think that they missed those two guys in the lineup, and you could tell even though they didn't get on the score sheet, you could tell that having those two guys in the lineup was important.
Well, it puts people in their right position. So like I said, so when you have Levin who has to play on the top line, right? That is, in my opinion, I think playing above, and you're putting him not in a spot to succeed. You're doing it out of necessity, just like last year, right? Where he was able to do well in that, given the opportunity last year. But when you have Levin now down on the third line, or maybe he has to fill in the second line, the matchups aren't going to be as hard, and that's where he can succeed, right? Same with Gallianov. When you have to put Gallianov up in the, on the top line, it's not going to be as easy for him. But when he gets to have those matchups in the third line, it allows them to succeed, and I think that's what's big about those guys coming back, and we've still got a few more. I mean, knock on wood, we get to see Asadorian and Paris. I mean, Paris, that was the fourth game of the season? Mm-hmm. It was the home opener, I believe, where he got hurt, if memory serves. So, if again, way too early, but, if back for the playoffs, that would be, again, that's a deadline acquisition, where you've missed. We don't know when the return date is on them or anything like that, but that can be counted as these guys are doing great without them. Then they get them back. That bolsters the lineup.
Then the Sioux got another goal late in the game. Tate Vader, unbelievable name, by the way.
That's a great name.
That might be one of the top three names in the league. Not to get off topic here, but Tate Vader scored for the Soo Greyhounds. And then the last goal, Mike Levin, they really wanted to get him that goal for the hat trick. They were shorthanded. Ben Boudreau talks about in the postgame. Defense first, get out of the zone, and then Ethan Zada, you could tell, was trying so hard to get Mike Levin that goal. They get him his first career hat trick, and just such a great moment for that young man, doubling his goal output, 3 goals tonight, 6 on the season, and you can tell that he's starting to gain confidence, and that was a fun moment at the end.
Like I said, that goal was probably harder for him to score because they were both aggressive on the forecheck and had to deal with 4 other Soo Greyhounds, whereas the one that Wasslin was able to set him up for on his second one, I think might have been a bit easier. Again, and I think that's great for the team. One thing we'll talk about with you'll talk about with Kevin that you had in the interview in the intermission. I think that my favorite part about that was how happy Kevin was, or how much Kevin was cheering it up here in the press box. It's fun to see that this team cares so much about each other. Like, he was so fired up that Levin got the hat trick. It's just great to see, and the vibes of this team are so much better. They won 17 games last year. We're at 14. They didn't win
21 games.
Through 21 games. That is such a drastic turnaround that I don't think is mentioned enough because Niagara has just been forgotten about. They're not paying attention, the rest of the league. And this year, it wasn't until the beginning of March when they won their 14th game last year. March. So, it's just an absurd turnaround. And, again, the defense was rebuilt, but there's still so many players that were on last year's team, and it's been great to see their development.
Going to hear from IceDogs head coach Ben Boudreau on the Wild Bills Auto Repair postgame, as well as Kevin He after the break. So stay right here. We're right back with more postgame coverage for the IceDogs 7-2 victory over the Soo Greyhounds right here on the Dog Pound Podcast, the official podcast of your Niagara IceDogs. Back after this.
Did you know that the global pet food stores in the Niagara region are all independently owned by members of the local community? We believe that pets are truly part of the family and are a source of joy in everyday homes around the world. Yet that living, loving experience usually doesn't happen all on its own, but takes extra effort to create and maintain. And we want you to know that the owners and staff at Global Pet Foods are always there to help you keep it going, any way we can, because we believe. Proud show sponsor of the Dog Pound Podcast, the official podcast of the Niagara IceDogs. We hope to see you at one of the following locations across Niagara: 3643 Portage Road in Niagara Falls, 160 Highway 20 in Font Hill, as well as 400 Scott Street and 344 Glendale Avenue in St. Catharines. Global Pet Foods, where pets are undeniably part of the family.
Wild Bill's Auto Repair is your local center for auto maintenance and repair in the Niagara region. Since 2012, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop has been helping customers stay safe and confident on the road, knowing their vehicles in top running condition through their services. Located at 7868 Oakwood Drive in Niagara Falls, the garage started as a tribute to the owner's father, William Robert Hunter, who passed away, continuing the same community spirit and high level of service which customers came to expect from him back at Hunter's Auto Repair. Their multi-award-winning auto shop has earned the trust of the Niagara community with its fair treatment of all customers, who can feel confident they'll get the trustworthy advice and repairs during their visit. Their experienced crew loves meeting new people and looks forward to forming a lasting partnership for the care of your cars. To find out more or to book service, contact them today. 905-358-7868 or wildbillsauto.ca. Wild Bill's Auto Repair, helping customers stay safe and confident on the road since 2012.
Celebrating a birthday, wedding, graduation, or just watching the big game, Carmine's Pizzeria Italiano is there to satisfy your pizza needs. Serving handmade Italian pizzas created with the freshest, top-quality ingredients, loaded subs, and their famous chicken wings. Platinum Award recipients of Community Votes Niagara for Best Pizza and Wings in all of the Niagara region 3 years running. Open 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week from their brand new location at 7156 Drummond Road in Niagara Falls. All payment options accepted to fit your convenience. Available for call-ahead pickup or delivery. Place your order today at 905-374-4400 or check out their online menu for the best quality pizza and wing combos you'll find in Niagara at carmine'spizzeria.ca. You've tried the rest, why not try the best? Carmine's Pizzeria Italiano, proudly serving the Niagara community since 2013.
Are you currently looking for work in the Niagara region? If so, you owe it to yourself to check out the services provided by the Niagara Employment Help Center, located at 6100 Thoroldstone Road in Niagara Falls. Their many free services include a fully staffed resource area open to the public, resume and cover letter writing, local labor market information, job search strategies, assistance with clarifying employment, training and career goals, employment counseling and job search support, Better Jobs Ontario information, and registration assistance. Check out their website at ehc.on.ca or call 905-358-0021 for more information. The Niagara Employment Help Center, helping people find work since 1983. This Employment Ontario program is funded by the Government of Ontario.
This is Alex Asadorian.
Hey, it's Ryan Roberg.
This is Ivan Gallianoff.
This is Matthew Virgilio.
My name's Jack Browdy.
And this is the
Dog Pound Podcast,
the official podcast of the Niagara IceDogs.
Welcome back to part 2 of today's Niagara IceDogs game recap, right here on the Dog Pound Podcast, the official podcast of your Niagara IceDogs, proudly brought to you by Global Pet Foods, where pets are undeniably part of the family in all 4 of their great Niagara region locations. Brandon Caputo and Cam Halbert are back with you, continuing to break down the IceDogs 7-2 win over the Soo Greyhounds here on a Thursday night here at the Meridian Centre in front of 2,591, the announced attendance tonight on a Thursday night. They'll play Saturday back here against the Sudbury Wolves on the teddy bear toss night, so remember to bring a teddy for a good cause if you're coming to the game on Saturday. Thank you to everybody tuning in today live on the live stream, on our YouTube channel, and those listening the next day in your favorite on-demand audio platform. So, Cam, it's a winning night for the IceDogs, so you know what that means. Free dog treat the next day, or if you're listening to it the next day, on Friday at any Global Pet Foods location here in the Niagara region. The 2 in St. Catharines, 1 in Fun Hill, 1 in Niagara Falls. Go down there, get a free dog treat courtesy of your friends here at the Dog Pound Podcast, thanks to the IceDogs' big 7-2 victory. Cam, before we get to IceDogs head coach Ben Boudreau, they get back on track here, but they're a tough 3-3. They got Brampton tomorrow night up in Brampton for their first trip to the CAA Center after moving from Mississauga over the offseason. Another divisional game. Brampton's going to be hungry. They have not played well and up to the standard that they've expected. They are under 500 right now at the time of recording this. So 2 divisional games here in the Central Division this weekend with Brampton and then finishing off with Sudbury. Never easy to do a 3-3, especially when 2 of them are divisional rivalries.
No, for sure. And again, we got Sudbury probably looking for their revenge. I mean, they had to play a 3-3 against us a couple weeks ago, and Niagara was able to come out on top. That was the weekend that Quentin Musty came back. But that being said, Brampton, they have to be the most disappointing team in the OHL right now,
other than Martone and Raycop.
It's but just they were the consensus number 1 team in the country, not just the OHL. They started the season at number 1 in the CHL power ranking. So, something's got to turn around for them. And not to get ahead, and I know it's not a Steelheads podcast, but they're going to lose Porter Martone probably for a couple weeks for the World Juniors too, right? So, kind of a crazy start there, but it's a big test, and not to mention, I would have to think that the Brampton still remembers what happened the last time that they played the IceDogs. That was basically their coming out party this season, that the IceDogs were gonna be good with a 7-2, 7-1. 7-3. That was a couple late goals. But it was really a top-to-bottom performance from the IceDogs, and it really kind of cemented that they were going to be good this year, I think. That was the real test there, to go 4-0 to start the season.
Yeah, that was their signature win that kind of put them on the map and got them noticed around the league.
Flores and Ivan Kovic, which I don't think we're going to see again.
Hopefully, just like the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight, hopefully we don't see that again.
No, that's a one and done.
One and done. So with that said, we're going to take you to IceDogs head coach Ben Boudreau on the Wild Bills Auto Repair post-game. Brought to you by Wild Bills Auto Repair, helping customers stay safe and confident on the road. In Niagara since 2012, in honor of the late William Robert Hunter, here's what the IceDogs head coach had to say with myself and Bill Potras from BPSN Diamonds Are Forever following the game against the Soo Greyhounds.
1,000,000% better effort tonight. What was the difference?
Like I said, the same thing. It's tough to play a perfect season, and we really had setbacks, and you could call it what you want. But the story of the season so far has been our resiliency, and I know it kind of gets redundant saying the same thing, but you've got a group that wanted it. It was more will versus skill than tonight, and we knew that we had to find a way to solve our penalty kill, and we went 6 for 6. And I really thought in the first half of the game, getting 5-0 and playing defense first, and then we kind of went on our heels and at 5-0. It's a natural tendencies, and took a lot of penalties in that second half of the game. But for the first 30, you could almost tell before we even hit the ice we were ready to play.
Okay. When you get a big lead like that early, is there any message on the bench to keep the pedal to the metal, or do they know that? Or because there is a natural tendency, like you say, to maybe back off a little.
There's a natural tendency, and there was a lot of learning lessons tonight, especially in that second half of the game with young guys, whether it be Creeder, whether it be Wazin, or anybody. You got to learn on how to win the game, and when you get up there, everybody cares about statistics. It's natural. I mean, that's what drives us all. But at the same time, the goalie has statistics that need all 5 guys in front of him to buy in and play well at the same time too. And Flo's done so well that you really wanted to find a way to close it out for him. Unfortunately, they scored 30 seconds into the third, but I thought he played great, and I thought the guys battled hard. So that's something that you really want to put focus on is, okay, you got enough to win. Let's battle for our goalie.
For sure. 2 guys got hat tricks tonight. Why don't we start with Levin? Doubled his goal output. How happy were you to see him? You put him out there to give him that chance. You felt he would deserve that chance to try and get the hat trick?
Oh, he's been working really hard. I mean, he scored in Guelph, even though it came back when it was offside. I mean, now he's, the last year, the one thing I recognize is he was a player that would trend up or down and go in waves. And when he was hot, he was hot. When he was cold, he was cold. And I think he went on a little bit of a cold stretch there, not scoring in a while, especially what he was compared to. But now this is his 3rd game in a row. He's found a way to put the back of the net. So you got to ride a hot hand, and at the end with him battling, I think he won some pretty key details that you want to reward a player like that. And it was the first time he found himself on the penalty kill, and made sure that we got the kill first and the goal second. But that was somewhere where we could have rewarded him, and glad it worked out for him.
For sure. And Loshko too. Consistent. He almost flies under the radar. He's so good, doesn't he?
Yeah. I mean, what else can you say?
Yeah.
And I remember, especially our management and ownership saying, you're always have to be your best players, and Loshko has been easily our best player down the middle. Defensively, I think he's been one of our best players, and not straying away, but same thing goes for Van Vliet and Flores, and he stepped into that role, and thank God. You look at everybody being a difference maker, but I think he's been a standout as far as new coming, how much energy he's injected into the lineup, and his professionalism on and off the ice, and he's a guy you just absolutely love because he gives you everything. So you want to give him every opportunity, and he's a guy that battled hard, and good to see him get rewarded.
Sure. 3-3. Gonna have to ride Flores. Is that still the situation?
We're gonna take it one game at a time. We're not worried about Saturday as much as we are tomorrow. And if Flores is healthy right now, we're gonna give him tomorrow in Brampton. We know Brampton is a team that's been losing, but they got supposedly the best goalie in the league, and the top 2, Rakoff and Martone. I mean, we need our best goaltender to shut these guys down. So Flores will go tomorrow, and then we'll reassess after Friday.
And he's back tomorrow, right?
Kevin will be back. Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, Coach, I mean, there's a lot of different ways we can go about this tonight, but you were critical of some of your bottom 6 forwards, needing some more production from them, especially with the guys that are out of the lineup. Galyanov getting on the board, Levin back-to-back games. Zada's gotten on the board in 3 straight. Can you talk about the depth guys coming through and you needing this to continue the positivity?
Oh, 100%. And 7 goals. Our depth guys factored in even as much. First off, to your message, yes, our depth guys, but I will say that our top guys are still doing the job. It was great to get that comfort space. Levin, 4 points tonight, by the way, 3 goals, 1 assist. Waslin with his 2 points, now 2 assists in 3 games straight. He finds himself at the top of league rookie scoring. There was a lot of really good things. Even Mason Ray. A lot of guys, depth guys for us, carried the weight for us, and I thought we played extremely well as a team. And my message, as far as the group, our message for the group has been team success will bring individual success and not the other way around. And you get back to playing as a team and everybody else gets rewarded.
Last week was not like a week that you would want to, as something that's going to be consistent. So how did you kind of put that aside, got back to work this week at practice, you got Max Creep back, you got Jack Brody back. How important were the 3 days of practice to kind of get those last 2 games off of your mind and make sure that you went into this game to start of a 3-3 and really shown all the things that you talked about last week needing to improve on?
Yeah. For us, it's short-term goals or short-term memory with long-term goals. We try to win the week, and that was last week. This is a new week, right? So our goal every single week is try to get 500 or above. And if you put more weeks than not when you're 500 or above, you'll find yourself exactly where you need to be, and that's in a playoff position. That's our goal. It's not to be first place, second place. We end up, we're exactly where we end up, but it's to make the playoffs and give ourselves a chance. So keeping the focus is, hey, it was a bad weekend last week, but this is a new week. Let's get back to what we're doing and take away some of the good things and make sure we work on the bad things. And tonight it really paid off.
Lastly, about Brady, everybody talks about him wanting to score goals and being this elite goal scorer, but his playmaking ability has been very underrated this year. You've talked about the amount of points that he's got in the last 3 games. He's been setting up a lot of plays. Just how impressed are you with the playmaking ability of Brady Waslin on top of everything else that he's been doing out there?
Well, his playmaking ability is second to none. That's why he's such a high draft pick. He could have easily gone 1, 2, or 3, but like I said, you look at a kid like that and you really want to give him an opportunity because he's such a great kid at the rink. He does everything that you ask. He's great away at the school. Everything that he does away from the rink is great, but he's played 15 games. He's got 15 points, only 2 goals that he scored in the same period, finding a way to be consistent. But the most important number is that he's a plus player at 16 years old. And that's tough to do, and especially with somebody like that playing inside your top 6 is going to get a lot of the matchups where he's going up against older guys every single night. So really gives you some excitement to see what these guys are going to be like in the future. But for right now, watching the 16-year-old blossom into a young man, learning on how to play, that's a point-of-game player leading at the top of rookie scoring is pretty good right now.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
There was IceDogs head coach Ben Boudreau and the Wild Bills auto repair postgame. Cam, a lot of good thoughts there from the head coach, talking about Mike Levin, Brady Waslin, talking about those top guys like Loshko coming through without having their captain and catalyst Kevin He in the lineup. He was pretty pleased tonight with the bounce back effort.
Yeah, and I think that I think he's bang on that. Maybe Loshko flies under the radar a little bit. It is his defensive play. He's always winning the big face-offs, and I think because Kevin has been such a focal point over the last 2 seasons, that's why, maybe that Loshko is kind of not the big focus. But love that he's going with Flores again, and I love that he made sure to point out that the team's got to learn how to win, and we've talked about that. Every single win that they've had this season, or even game where they've let teams back into it because they haven't been used to winning. This game was almost boring in the second period because the IceDogs just did not allow them to get back into it. And I think that's a huge thing for their development, not just this season, but going forward. But Waslin, again, mentioning that, you have your goaltender putting on a performance like he did tonight, and he was upset that, the team started the third period a little lackadaisical because they couldn't get him that shutout. And I think that that's important, because it shows respect to the players that are going to war for you. And I think that that's, we've seen him be critical of Flores. And you've also seen him be come to his defense in a lot of the time. So it is nice to see that, regardless of the situation, that he's getting, he's pointing those things out. I'm excited to see what happens in that third game. Like, what does he think? If they win tomorrow, do they go to Humphreys because they've won 2 out of 3 on the weekend so far? Or if they lose in Brampton, do they go back to Flores? Like, it's very tough. And I think that's another thing is that Flores, he's had a couple of moments in the last 2 games where he looked like he might be injured, and
he got shot. A shot came at him, a slap shot hit him right in the mask, and he was down tonight.
Yeah, I thought that got him near under the mask because he was down and out, and you lose him, and my goodness, does that get real scary because Robertson's out, and again, we don't. Same thing with Asadorian. I don't think that it's. The fact that we've lost those guys for as long as we have so far, and the team has been doing so well that you almost forget, is a luxury that the IceDogs have not had. So, it is good to see that Flores get the respect there, and it'll be curious to see what he does this week.
We'll get into our next segment here with our IceDogs feature player interview tonight. Brought to you by Cully's Original Sports Bar, proud sponsor of Niagara IceDogs hockey. Whether you're gearing up for the game or celebrating a big win, Cully's is the place to be before and after every IceDogs home game. Just a short walk from the Meridian Centre. Cully's, it happens here. We spoke to IceDogs captain Kevin He up here in the press box after the second intermission, talking about what he's been able to see in the last 2 games from his team as he's going to be back against the Brampton Steelheads. Here what the IceDogs captain had to say. And we're back on the intermission with IceDogs captain Kevin He. Kev, I know you want to be on the ice tonight, and it's a little bit different serving the second game of your 2-game absence. But what have you liked from the team tonight? 5-0 lead. Andre Lashko's got a hat trick. Your line mate. How nice has it been to see this team bounce back after their first 2-game losing streak of the season?
I thought we've been playing well. Special teams has been a big difference for us. Obviously we can see in the first 2 periods. I think we're playing well on both ends of the ice, and we try to keep it going for another period.
What's been working for you so far? I mean, you look at your stat line. The last 3 games you've played, you've scored 5 goals. So what's been working for you in the goal category? And obviously that win in Brantford was nice, and then that scrummage that happened in Guelph that cost you the next 2 games. But before you missed the 2 games, how did you feel like you were progressing out there?
Yeah, I thought our team was playing well. Obviously, when we're winning games, it helps, and like Boudreau always says, right? Like team success brings individual success. So I think that's been huge for us.
And you talk about yourself, 17 goals, 29 points in the 19 games you've played. You're in the top 10 of all CHL goals this year. I know you don't want to look at statistics, and as the captain, you have to be selfless at times, but how proud are you of the start through 20 games for the team, for a team that only won 17 games in 12 games your rookie year? How nice has it been to kind of see the early success, and it's not been perfect, but to see the team actually progressing and seeing the positive results?
Yeah, I'm really proud of this group. I think we've had a tremendous start, and we have to keep that going. Obviously, there's a lot more hockey to be played, and I think we've done a really good job so far. So pretty happy and looking forward to get back out there.
When you're not in the lineup, is sitting up top and seeing the game from a different lens, do you learn anything from doing that? Or I know you want to be on the ice competing, but is there anything that you can take away from sitting a game or 2 up in the press box and seeing it from the overhead?
Yeah, you obviously kind of learn different habits from different players, and you kind of see it from a different angle, and that helps a lot. Kind of analyze my own game and try to add things here and there back to myself. So I think I've learned a lot, absolutely.
What have you thought of the depth scoring while you've had guys like Asadorian, Paris out of the lineup, Wassland was away at the U17s? How nice has it been to see some guys start to get some contributions like the Gallianovs? Mike Levin started to get going here with goals in back-to-back games, and Ethan Zada as a guy that's one of your teammates that's on the central scouting list. Just how nice has it been to see that depth scoring start to come through while guys like yourself and a couple of the other big guns are out of the lineup?
Yeah, it's huge for us. If we want to win those big games, we need those players to step up, and obviously tonight they've stepped up, and I'm super happy for them. And obviously, Jackie, we're going for 1 period.
Do you know anybody on the Soo side? Is anybody catching your eye? Obviously, Brady Martin's a guy that is going to be at that CHL USA Prospects Challenge, and there's going to be a couple other OHLers there as well. Anything that you can tell us about the scouting report and the Soo guys?
Yeah, obviously they're a really good team. They also got guys out as well. But I actually played with one of them, Christopher Brown, back in minor midgets. So kind of just happy to see him going, and Yeah, not too much. I don't know anyone too well, but I'd say the one I know really well is Christopher Brown, because we play together growing up.
Lastly, by the time this airs, you're going to be playing in Brampton, and then the home game back here on Saturday for the Teddy Bear toss. I know you scored the Teddy goal a couple years ago. Is there any bragging rights within the room of guys that are hoping to get that goal? You obviously know what that's like with that honor, but have you guys even talked about what you guys might do out there when the Teddies come flying on Saturday?
To be honest, no. I think our goal is just taking one game at a time, and we're not done with this game, so I think that's our main focus right now. Finish this period and finish this game off before. Still got one more game to play before we go to the Teddy Bear toss, so I think that's been our main goal right now.
Locked in, Kevin He, the IceDogs captain. Kevin, thanks so much for joining us on the intermission, and look forward to. We like having you up there, but we also want to see you back on the ice. So appreciate your time and look forward to seeing you back on the ice next game.
Thank you for having me, Caputo.
There was IceDogs captain Kevin He on the Cullies post-game interview with the IceDogs captain, Winnipeg Jets 2024 fourth round selection. Cam, I like the fact that he's dialed in. He was worried about them closing out the game even though they were up 5-0. Captain's mentality, and love everything from Kevin on and off the ice.
We get to see scratches of other teams and things like that, and even over the years, like we've gotten to see IceDogs that are injured and things like that. Kevin was up here, and he is legit a fan. Like I said before, before we got to his interview, like Levin scores and he jumped up and had his hands in the air, like he was just so happy, and I think that's why, just another reason why it makes him such a great captain. And yeah, he's really just focused on the 2 points, and maybe that's a little bit of just hockey jargon. Just got to get pucks deep, got to worry about this game. But I forgot that I for some reason thought that his Teddy Bear goal was last year, but I remember being in the stands watching him in his rookie season get it and being really excited for it. That's like one of the most fun, underrated hockey traditions, I think, is the Teddy Bear toss game in the OHL. So love to see that, and I'm excited to see. We're gonna, after tomorrow, or actually we're not gonna be able to. We should make a prediction as to who scores the Teddy Bear goal.
I'm gonna say Ethan Zada.
Oh, that's a good one.
Last year was Gavin Bryant. Year before was Kevin He.
I'm gonna say Jack Brody. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the defenseman.
Okay.
I think that's I think he sneaks one in.
And spoiler alert, that will be our IceDogs feature player interview. I'll be in between the benches waiting to talk to the Teddy Bear toss goal scorer. So hopefully they don't make me wait a whole period like they did last year. They didn't score their first goal until the second period last year. So, Cam, is there a bet as well on if I fall on the ice with my dress shoes on?
I don't trust you walking on the ice, brother. But hey, you know what? If we don't have a post game, that's why he just couldn't handle walking along the ice.
Hey, I didn't do it the first 2 years. Maybe third time's a charm. Or for Cam, he's going to be doing this solo. But regardless of that, before we get out of here, we're going to put Cam on the spot with our stick tap of the game, brought to you by Hockey Stick Man. Pro Stock hockey sticks for major junior teams, right up to the NHL teams for half the retail price. A stress-free shopping experience from start to finish. Check them out at hockeystickman.ca to join their mission in saving hockey families money. Cam, before I get it to you, Zada 3 assists, Lashko 3 goals, Rubrick 3 assists, Galianov a goal and 2 assists, Mike Levin 3 goals, 1 assist, Brady Waslin 2 points. So many guys with multi-point nights. It was great to see. But who are you going with tonight?
Flores with 80 saves. This is I'll be honest with you, I like to go off the board off the stat sheet a lot of the times to kind of highlight players that we don't get to talk about a lot. This was Mike Levin's night for sure. He needed this game, and just great for him to get it. And you could see how happy his teammates were after a very slow start to the season after such a good campaign last year. So again, the whole team was just humming. But I got to give credit to Mike Levin again there. Just a great job, and we're gonna need him.
Usually you have an honorable mention, so.
Galianov. Yeah, Galianov again. I think he was the honorable mention last game as well. He's been great. He looked, like I said, a little bit like he was, gripping the stick a little tight early on. But even not just offensively, he's finishing checks. He's becoming that agitator again that he became at the end of last season as a 16-year-old. And again, he's a very important part. Once he's on the, whether wherever the lineup sits in, if he ends up back on the third line, if the third line is Ray, Levin, and Galianov, we've got a great shot against a lot of teams, and even if it's not and they have to play in other positions, it's just good to see him really hit his stride.
Final thought, Matt Virgilio playing against his former Soo Greyhounds team for the first time. You see him get in a
He was
few...
a little chippy. That makes a little sense because he was getting a little lippy with his squad, I think, back then. It's always fun to see that because they want to play awfully hard against each other. So usually we're on the bad end of that. Whether it's Lavoie or whoever, you know what I mean. They always seem to or Pano. Oh my goodness, he loves playing the IceDogs. But no, he played great tonight, and he had a little bit of an edge to him too.
Yeah, it was nice to see for Matt Virgilio and coming out with a 7-2 victory, gets the last laugh tonight against his former Soo Greyhound teammates, so shout out to him. So with that said, that's going to wrap up another Niagara IceDogs game recap right here on the Dog Pound Podcast, the official podcast of your Niagara IceDogs. Proudly brought to you by Global Pet Foods, where pets are undeniably part of the family in all 4 of their great Niagara region locations. For Cam Halbert, my name is Brandon Caputo. We'll be back here Saturday night for a teddy bear toss game against the Sudbury Wolves. Cam, hopefully the IceDogs will have another positive week and we'll have another win to talk about.
Can't wait.
That's going to do it. And IceDogs 7, Soo Greyhounds 2 on the Thursday night here at the Meridian Centre. Until Saturday night, have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you again after Saturday.